Hello, my dudes. Welcome back to Previously Gifted. Today, we are going to talk about the Oscars that happened last night. Initially, my plan was to talk about the movies that I had seen before the Oscars and then do some kind of recap after, but that didn't happen. Plus, I don't know, like, what's the point in being like, this is what I think's gonna win? Because I am not the Academy, shockingly. Where's this recording? Hello? Oh, never mind. It's totally fine. I thought that this wasn't recording, but it is. Sorry about that, you guys. Silly me. I totally lost my train of thought. Thanks, self. Thanks, GarageBand, for ruining this fucking podcast. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to talk about the movies that I have seen out of I guess, like, the Best Picture nominees. But some of these were not nominated for Best Picture, but I still want to chat about them, okay? Before I get started, we have a new podcast sponsor to announce. Her name is Hannah Baker. Yes, the same name as the main character in 13 Reasons Why. So that's unfortunate because she had the name before the character did. I assume, because the book was written in, 2010? And I bet you're older than 8 years old, Hannah. So anyway, shouts out to Hannah. Thank you for becoming a sponsor. You guys can hit her up on Instagram at Hannah Jo, J-O, Baker. Also, we've got the oldies, the old faithfuls, Joni, Kirsty, Eric, Lily, Matt, Jerome, and Liz. Make sure you guys check them out if you're interested in following a previously gifted supporter on their social media, because obviously these people have impeccable taste. Thank you guys. And also, news about the Patreon. I changed the tiers a little bit, so if you go to patreon.com/previouslygifted, for just $1 per month, you will have access to the bonus podcast episodes and some other perks. But yeah, I'm trying to make at least one bonus episode per month, and I want you guys to be more involved, and the best way to be involved in the pod is to be a patron. So thank you guys for supporting me, and let's get chatting with myself about cinema, you guys. We're talking movies. We're talking films here. Luckily, all of my year and a half of being a digital filmmaking major in college will hopefully go to waste, and I will not be able to explain or describe these films in a sophisticated way. But let's be real. Let's be down to earth. I'm just gonna talk like I would if I were chatting to a friend's face about these movies. First of all, I recently talked about how Nathan and I like to do movies, movie night, as a date night. That's such an original idea. But yeah, we're like, let's go to the cinema more often. But obviously it's expensive, dude. Like, movie tickets are like $14, and then you've got to buy a $6 icy, and then maybe some other snacks. It's a pricey date, but you're just trying to support the film industry because you don't want it to die. And people are pirating movies so often, it's losing revenue. I'm sure a lot of these movies are not struggling, but still, it's good to support film. But anyway, someone suggested that we get the Movie Pass, and we did. So Movie Pass is a service that's been around for a few years now, and apparently, years ago, it was $50 a month for unlimited movies, and now it's only $10. You may be wondering, how does that work? How does anyone make money in this situation? To be honest, I have no fucking clue. Movie Pass pays the theater the full price of the ticket, but I'm sorry, I'm hiccuping or burping. Cute. It'll pay the full ticket price to the theater, but I don't know how MoviePass makes money. Unless they're trying to go for that, gym membership type of thing where people are like, oh, that's such a good deal, I'll get it, and then they never go. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So we got our movie passes. They came in the mail. Just the way that it works is you have the MoviePass app, and then you have the card, and you have to use both, which is a little complicated, but whatever. So we show up to the stupid movies, our favorite theater with the best reclining chairs in town, and you're supposed to check into the movie once you're at the cinema. So we get there, Nathan checks in, and mine won't work. I get to the cinema, get this, and it's not working. And I get to the cinema, and it's not working. That's a little shout out to Gabriel Gundacker, who goes to the Coinstar, and it's not working. So we get there, and it's not fucking working for me. And I'm pissed because, obviously, I've already paid my $10 for this month, and heck, probably the second month's $10 charge is gonna come soon, you know? But most importantly, I go up to the ticket counter, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to check in, and they're like, we do not do any customer service with the movie pass, we just accept it. And I was like, oh, shit. I totally understand, because MoviePass has been having a lot of like customer service issues, or like me, the app doesn't work or something's going wrong. So I understand why individual theaters wouldn't want to deal with that bullshit, because they can't do anything about it anyway. But I'm pretty pissed because I'm like, well, fuck, now I have to pay for this? I already paid for my MoviePass, and now I have to pay $14. But we're going to the cinema to see Annihilation, the new, what would you call it? Not a horror film. It's like a, what would you call it, Nathan?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi. Yes, a new sci-fi film starring Natalie Portman. And apparently it's coming out on Netflix in like a week. So I paid $14 to see a movie that should have cost me nothing. And also it's coming out on Netflix, but it was a great movie. You guys should definitely watch it. But anyway, that's my story about MoviePass. I got so angry. You know that situation where you're like very heated, but there's nothing that anyone around can do? So I just sit there like, fuck, guess I'll pay for my ticket then. Thank you very much. So I made a mental note to contact MoviePass customer service. I DM'd them on Twitter, but I don't think they reply on there, so I'm gonna have to call their phone number. But I haven't been, like, available to do that, so maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. It's another stupid errand on my list. Thanks, MoviePass. I'm gonna call you and probably sit on hold for an hour, just to get you to try to fucking refund my $14, because I want to use your service. I love movies. Anyway, Nathan loves it. He has glowing, raving reviews for MoviePass, so it's like a flip of a coin. It could either work great, or it could just fuck you over and charge you money, and you won't be able to use it. You never know. So anyway, the movies that we have seen. I don't know how to go about this. I've got like a list of the movies that we've seen in theaters recently, or at home. Okay, let's talk about the Oscars, the Academy Awards. I am not one to watch award shows ever. If it's convenient, maybe I'll catch a little bit of it, but they're too long and you get all the highlights on Twitter or online. So it's like, I don't really feel the need to watch most of the time. But anyway, we were excited because when the nominations came out, we were... it's the usual hype. You're like, oh, those films are nominated for Best Picture or Best whatever. Maybe we'll go see it. And obviously that's great to encourage more people to go out and see these films, which are great films, Do they encompass all of the greatest films of the year? No, of course. There are always some so-called snubs. But nobody will ever agree completely with the Academy. Except the Academy, and probably white men. I don't know if I heard too much about too many nomination snubs this year, but again, that's not my interest. It's like, there's always going to be people who are like, how could you leave out this film? And it's like, I don't know, they could, and they did, so I don't know, just give it more attention in any way you can, but how long should we complain about something not getting nominated? I don't know. Let's talk about the Oscars and everything later on. Let's just chat about these movies first. The first movie on our recently watched list is Darkest Hour. the biopic of Winston Churchill. So this is usually not the type of movie that I would run to see at the cinema. But fun fact, Nathan and I, we went with his boss, shouts out, and some of his other coworkers. So it was a time. I enjoyed it. It was interesting. I don't know very much about British history or British figures. Obviously, I knew a very small, close-minded kind of portrait of Winston Churchill. But it was interesting to see a little bit more about him, especially with Nathan sitting right beside me. I'm like, wow, I totally understand everything. I actually understand England now, and I don't know, I feel kind of British. I feel a little bit... Nathan's just like, no, please. I feel a little bit like more well... No, what the fuck was that? I feel a little bit well-versed about... What the fuck am I doing? This is the worst British accent I've done in recent times. Winston Churchill is the most... frustrating figure in recent modern British history. I should stop. This doesn't make any sense. Anyway, more about The Darkest Hour. So yeah, it's about Winston Churchill being brought to the position of Prime Minister. Right on the edge of, spoiler alert, if you guys haven't watched it, you may not know what happens next, right at the edge of World War II. So Hitler is taking over, and the UK, Britain, they are all trying to figure out how to grapple with his Nazi forces and not be, taken over themselves. So it is very interesting. The royal family was there. Shouts out King Charles. Who was the king during Winston Churchill's time?
It's Edward, I believe.
Edward?
George.
Fact check us. Could be any of those British names. I was thinking Charles, but I know nothing, so who cares? The British family was there. Shouts out. The woman, there's a woman in the movie who plays Winston Churchill's like typist. She types all of his speeches as he just like says them out loud. For the first half of the film, I thought she was Daisy Ridley, known as Rey from Star Wars. And it was not Daisy Ridley. It's someone who looks very much like her. They just had like similar teeth, face shape. They look very similar, okay? Look it up. Do I remember this actress's name? No, I don't.
King George.
Who?
King George.
It was King George. King George and Winston Churchill ended up being pretty good pals because they united for the good of Britain. Great Britain. God save the Queen, you know? Where was the Queen? She was probably just chilling. When you got a king, I mean, I don't know. All right, so that was Darkest Hour. By the way, I have Letterboxd, if you guys have that. It's an app where you can track the movies you watch, you can keep a watch list of things that you want to see, you can leave little reviews, and it's kind of a cool thing to be able to like look back and be like, oh, these are all the movies I've watched this year, or in whatever amount of time. If you guys want to follow me on Letterboxd, I'm actually not sure what my username is. It could be Tiffany Ferg, it could be Tiffany the Prez. It might be Tiffany Ferg. But I've been trying to log my films on Letterboxd because it's interesting. It is Tiffany Ferg. So if you have Letterboxd, hit me up, I guess, if you care. I don't know. I don't understand the social aspect other than like being like, oh, some of my friends also saw this movie. But on Letterboxd, you can rate each movie on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. It's pretty typical. I didn't realize... Okay, when I first downloaded the app, I was going through like the most popular movies pages and like just trying to mark all the ones that I've seen and rate them, and it's very overwhelming to do that. But I was like, I didn't know that you could use half stars, so that affected my ratings a little bit. But also, I feel like I'm very generous. I don't like to be overly critical. So basically, on my scale, if I liked a movie, it's at least 3 stars. If I really liked it, it's going to be 4. And if it's really, really good, and I'd watch it again, 5. So that doesn't make for very much room for, like, distinction, you know? It doesn't take a lot for a movie to be, like, a 4-star movie for me. Anyway, I think I rated Darkest Hour 4 stars, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, would I want to watch that movie again? No. 3? I rated it 3 stars? Thank you, Nathan. He's fact-checking me right across the room. 3 stars. I hated it. But I guess it's a little impressive. I mean, I don't know. Historical movies are always, I don't know. It depends on your taste. And like I said, it's not usually my taste. But Gary Oldman, the star who played Winston Churchill, he won Best Actor. Spoiler alert. I mean, do I agree with that? It doesn't matter if I agree with that. Did he do a great job portraying a figure that I have never seen portrayed in any other place? Sure. Seemed convincing. The makeup was very impressive for that because they had to turn Gary Oldman into an old man with more of a belly. So it was pretty good. Pretty good. 3 stars. Next movie, Black Panther. All right, yeah. Oh, yeah. Black Panther was obviously incredible. It's been a couple weeks since we went and saw that. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast yet, but basically, it was incredible. I loved it. Love it a lot. Nathan, of course, is getting me into superhero movies, the Marvel Universe, and all of that, because secondhand and also going to the movies with him, I'm watching a lot more than I usually would. But I probably would have still seen Black Panther anyway, just because of all the hype leading up to it and since its premiere. So yeah, amazing. Incredible. Have you guys seen that? It's from fucking Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon and Chadwick. Is his name Chadwick?
Yeah.
Chadwick what? Why am I thinking Chadwick Westwick? That's for sure not right. The star, the Black Panther of Black Panther, and Jimmy Fallon, they were hiding behind, like, a curtain, and people were coming in under the guise that they would just be, like, sending video messages to him, Chadwick. So they're sitting there and they're staring at this, like, poster of the Black Panther, and they're like, you know, this movie means a lot to me, and it was incredible to see this, and just everything that they would want to say to him. And of course he pops out from behind the curtain, and they freak out, and it's very cute. I would definitely recommend looking that up, because it felt, and I felt as well watching it, so check it out. Next, 3 billboards. 3 billboards in Ebbing, Missouri. It's really hard to say the full name. That kind of film title, it's like, why did you name it that long? I mean, obviously they knew that people would refer to it as 3 billboards, but still, I'm like, okay, all right, we get it. 3 billboards, where? In Ebbing, Missouri. Where's Missouri? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've looked at a full U.S. map. And it's been much longer before then that I memorized the map. I think the last time I knew where every state was, along with its capital, must have been like 5th grade, because they used to quiz us on things like that, and now they don't. Nobody quizzes a 22-year-old woman, except maybe the Jimmys of the late night shows. You know, you'd get one of those, like, street interviews, and they'd be like, literally point out Missouri, and I'd go, it's in the middle somewhere? I'm not sure. Anyway, 3 billboards I loved. Nathan, if you want to pull up my rating. No, just, hold on. I think I remember. I think I gave it 4.5.
We'll see.
3 billboards. 3. On the 3 billboards. 4.5 out of 5. See, I'm getting a little more stingy. I'm not just going to give anything a 5. But honestly, spoiler, out of all of these movies, and out of the Oscar-nominated films that I've seen, I think Three Billboards is in my top 2 movies. So I liked it a lot. Yeah, I'm really glad that Nathan and I decided to watch that. We did not see that in theaters. We watched that. We got it on Amazon a couple days ago. But wow, such great performances by, what's her name? Frances McDormand and freaking Woody Harrelson. Gotta love him. And the other guy, who, spoiler alert, won Best Supporting Actor. What's his name? Sam Rockwell. Yes. Overall, such a great story. It's such a great blend of drama and humor and again, so many feelings. Like, I felt so sad a lot of the time, and then you feel so strongly about all the characters, and then they develop even more. It's just great. There's some good twists, I think, and just a great movie. So Three Billboards, if you haven't seen it yet, absolutely check it out. It was really great. I think we should take a little break for a second, and then we will continue with my list. I've got a couple more films that I've seen, and then we'll talk about the ones that I haven't seen. Thank you guys for listening. Here we pause. And we're back. Thank you guys so much for waiting. It was a transitional period, and I'm really glad that you're still sticking around. Okay, next film on my list is Wonder, the cutie heartbreaker movie starring Jacob Tremblay, the little talent that acted, and Owen Wilson. Wow. He didn't say wow one time in that movie. Disappointing. The Julia Roberts. Yes, the famous, the pretty woman, the aunt of Emma Roberts. Yeah, that one. And I don't know any of the other stars. Wonder is about Jacob Tremblay, who plays a little boy. It's not about Jacob Tremblay. I love referring to movie characters as actors and vice versa. Just to be accurate, the movie is starring Jacob Tremblay, and he plays a little boy who has a facial deformity. So he was born that way, and then he had some plastic surgery, but obviously it didn't completely put his face back to so-called normal. So, the movie is about the struggles of that. And of course, it's difficult. Shouts out to anybody who has seen the movie. Of course, I forgot the name. It stars Cher, and the guy with red hair, and his name maybe starts with R. I have to Google this. I must know. I have to know what this is. Guess what? I Googled Cher, disformed face. It's called Deformed. The movie is called Mask. Yes. A 1985 biographical drama. It's based on a true story. Starring Cher, Sam Elliott, and Eric Stoltz. And ooh, Laura Dern is in that? Gotta love Laura Dern. But yeah, Mask is great. If you haven't seen it, you really should. But it has a similar concept, except in Mask, the main character's facial deformity is more severe. But it's a great movie. Yeah, like I said, similar. This is like a grown-up Wonder, which is sad because, I don't know. I don't want to spoil Wonder. So, Wonder is like the most emotionally manipulative movie. I bet you could tell that just by watching the trailer. But of course, that's why you want to watch it, You know this kid is going to go through some hard times. You know his parents are going to be loving, but they can't understand completely because they obviously haven't experienced this. And, classic. Wonder is interesting because it goes character by character through the movie. Sometimes going through the same day from different perspectives, and then by the end it jumps pretty far into the future. But yeah, Wonder was nice. I enjoyed it. I might have cried a few times. or I nearly cried many times, but maybe didn't come to full completion of tears. Nathan, do you know what I rated it? Not that you need to have Letterboxd up for this entire podcast.
What film's this?
Wonder.
You rated Wonder 4 stars.
4 stars. Yeah, so I guess I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I did. I would recommend it if you're into, like a heartwarming but also heart-wrenching film. That's how I would describe it. Next film on my list is Coco. Yes, bitch. Coco, I had been hearing really great things about, specifically from Emily, aka the chill vegan. She's just tweeted like many times about how much she loves Coco. And Coco is a Disney Pixar film about the Day of the Dead, and it's so good. Nathan and I were trying to decide between a couple movies to watch, and we watched this one at home on Amazon again. Shouts out Amazon. We are actually paying for movies. We are such good patrons of cinema, you guys. But yeah, I will admit, I talked about this a little bit. I just made a bonus episode for Patreon, so if you become a patron, you'll have access. I just made a bonus episode, and I'm realizing as I talk about Coco that I already talked about Coco in the bonus episode, because I keep going to say the same things, and I'm like, deja vu, or should I say deja parlay? Okay. But anyway, long story short, Coco is a fantastic film. It absolutely destroyed me in the best way possible. I love watching movies about other cultures. Can I relate at all to having a Mexican family or celebrating the Day of the Dead or any of these things? Not really. But of course I can relate to like family, generational issues and differences and traditions and wanting to be your own person. And why am I talking in that accent for this? That doesn't make any sense. It's a beautiful movie. It has great original songs, and the end will ruin you. So definitely check it out. Coco won Best Animated Feature.
Coco won Best Animated Feature.
Hell yeah, bitch. Check it out. It's great. Next film is Get Out. I can't believe it took so long for us to watch Get Out. I literally just watched it this week with Nathan. I don't know why I didn't see it in theaters when it came out, but I missed it. And then it was on Amazon, but it was only available for like $15. A rental for $15. No, not today. So we waited, and then we found it, and was it even any cheaper? Or did we still pay $15?
No, it was $6.99.
$6.99. Okay, that's a price point that we're okay with. Get Out. Obviously, it was very hyped, but I think very rightfully so. Between all these movies, 3 Billboards and Get Out, I think, are my faves. Get Out was great. I had heard some slight things, not really spoilers, but like, I knew a good amount about the plot and some interesting points about it. But it's just great, and I'm so happy for Jordan Peele. And it won something. Did Jordan Peele won?
Best Screenwriter.
Best Screenwriter. I'm so happy. I can't wait to see more of Jordan's work, because obviously it's going to be next level. But yeah, everybody says go see Get Out if you haven't, and I agree, 100%. What was my favorite part about it? Obviously, like, the twists and the surprises, and you find everything out in the end. That's my favorite part. I told you guys that I'm not great at describing movies anymore, and that is true. But what more can I say without spoiling things? Honestly, I should have made this a no spoiler episode, because I could, like, really get into all the shit, and that's so much more fun to talk about, but it's okay. for the sake of you who haven't seen all these films, for the sake of you who aren't exactly cinephiles and you tend to miss the best features and you don't care about keeping up with what's nominated by the Academy, fine. Actually, I don't know why I would respect you and not spoil these movies for you. I'm just too tired. I don't want to spoil things right now. It takes a lot of energy to do that. Mainly, I'd have to remember all the plot points, and honestly, I don't have the memory right now. I'm out of memory. The next film, the one that Nathan and I most recently watched in theaters, like I said, is Annihilation. Cost me $14, so keep in mind, that's how much I had to pay. Maybe my ratings are subconsciously based off of how worth it I feel like they were, depending on if we rented a movie for $2.99 or if it cost me $14 even though I have a movie pass. But anyway, even with actually having to pay for this ticket, Annihilation was great. Natalie Portman is so beautiful. Watching that movie made me want to lose weight, which is maybe fucked up. I could lose like 5 or 10 pounds, you guys, you know? But, okay, there's this part where Natalie Portman's looking all cute and, like, giggling and being tickled or something in a bed. Irrelevant to the plot. But her stomach just looked so good. And I remember thinking, damn, I should try to lose some tummy pounds. And, like, thinking about my face, and I'm like, I feel like my face looks just a little bit chubbier than usual. Should I fix it? Anyway, thanks, Natalie. You ruined my self-esteem. But you're so strong, and your character's so smart and cool. Natalie Portman's character plays a soldier scientist. And basically there is this, this thing called the shimmer that is spreading and growing, and everybody who goes in never comes out. So, naturally, Natalie Portman and some other brave women go in, and craziness ensues. Annihilation is very, very interesting. It is a trippy movie. Like, I watched it, I think, the entirety of the movie with my jaw, like, permanently dropped. Like, shit would just happen and I'd be like, what? Like, it's very cool. It's cool because it combines, like, real science with sci-fi, which is, I'm stupid. That's what sci-fi is, you fucking idiot. Holy shit. Wow, this movie's crazy because it combines science and fiction. I just discovered a genre. Wow, that's the dumbest shit ever. I'm truly appreciating science fiction for the first time. But, okay. To be fair, like, this film is extra science fiction-y. There's science fiction films that don't actually get into the science of it, and this film had me thinking about cell splitting. I was thinking about mitosis. I was thinking about biology, and other things that Natalie Portman's character explained much better than I ever could. And then the end of Annihilation, obviously without spoilers, yeah, it's so what the fuck? And then, okay, the movie ended and people started getting up from their seats, but everyone was silent. Like, you know, when a movie ends, people usually start talking right away? No. This movie, it ended and everyone was just like, oh, great. There was a noise that interrupted the silence. Okay, if you can, imagine quiet. That's how it was. I feel like everybody was just baffled. They're like, what the fuck just happened? But, like, cool, but also what? And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that ending. And then we looked it up, and apparently it's part of a trilogy. It's based on a trilogy of books. So I'm kind of tempted to read the books because I would love to actually understand what the fuck is happening and know in advance what's going to happen. But then another side of me is like, actually, why don't I just wait and be surprised by cinema? So I don't know. We'll see. Great movie. I don't know what I rated it on Letterboxd. Maybe a 4.5. Maybe. Waiting for confirmation from Mr. White. Sorry, are you busy? Are you not on Letterboxd?
4.
4. Okay. All right. See, that's the thing. With a little bit of time, my ratings change. And also, I just forget. And I just kind of guess. I liked it a lot. Or at least from my own retelling of the movie, it can make myself think that I liked it or disliked it more, if that makes sense. Memory's crazy, you guys. We never remember exactly the way that we think we do. Okay, The Last Bird. What? I spoiled it. The last movie that I've seen is Lady Bird. And again, this was one that was on my watch list for months. And I kept telling Nathan that I wanted to see it. For months, I have been telling Nathan, every time he goes, what movie should we watch? Lady Bird, which is still playing at our local indie cinema, and Call Me By Your Name, and also I, Tonya. But finally, we watched Lady Bird on Amazon at home, and I've got to say, it was very hyped up by everybody, obviously. It's cool that Greta Gerwig, is that her name? Greta Gerwig, sure. I think that is it. I'm like playing dumb. Is that it? Of course it is. It's cool to see a very strong female film, you know? Female directors, they're rare in Hollywood, unfortunately. And it's a dope movie. But anyway, my actual thoughts about it. There were so many people who said, Lady Bird made me cry. It was exactly like my relationship with my mom. Like, this movie is so my life. I saw it 3 times. I've got to say, I don't know. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I really enjoyed Lady Bird, but it was not my favorite, and personally, it did not live up to the expectations. I mean, I know it's not supposed to be like the most exciting, action-driven plot. It's more about the relationships between the characters and just classic coming-of-age kind of stuff. But maybe it's because I can't relate. Like the whole experience with like how she interacts with her mom and her dad and everything, I'm like, this doesn't do it for me. But then again, my relationship with my parents, I've never found a movie that mirrors that. So I guess that's just me. Movies like that just amplify like how different my relationship with my parents is and how my upbringing was. I don't know. My parents are like, they're like equals to me. We just talk to each other like whatever. And I guess I'm more independent. So like I'm not used to having my parents like dictate anything about my life really. But of course I could relate to Lady Bird's college struggles and, you know, trying to find a school that you can afford and considering going across the country, all of that. Not wanting to go to UC Davis. No, actually, I have nothing against UC Davis. I know some people who go there. And of course, California. And, you know, having some pinkish hair. I can actually relate. Maybe, just maybe, I am Lady Bird. Wow. No, that's not it. So those are all the movies that I have seen. Now, a short list of the movies that I did not see out of the Oscar nominees, mostly, but that I would still like to see: Call Me By Your Name, I, Tonya, and Dunkirk. Dunkirk, I mostly wanted to see before because of Harry Styles, even though he has a very small role in it. But Nathan saw that, and he said that it was incredible. And unfortunately, Harry Styles is not on screen very often, so that's disappointing. But apparently it's a great movie, and especially as a British man, he felt very proud of his country. So I guess I should watch it. It's a great movie. And then watching the Oscars last night, Dunkirk won a lot of the sound awards. It won 2 back-to-back sound awards. So if I'm not going to watch it, I could at least listen to it. Nathan hated that. Whew. I also cracked my lip last night during the Oscars. You know when you're so dehydrated that your lip cracks and bleeds? Yes. So I haven't really been able to fully smile. And I'm trying not to because I don't want to bleed on camera if I can avoid it. Call Me by Your Name. I want to see that so badly. I didn't know that Timothée Chalamet was in Lady Bird also until recently, and I'm like, no wonder he's the new It Boy. But also his nomination for Best Actor. He is the third youngest nominee for Best Actor. He's 22. He's like 2 months younger than me. Shouts out, Timothy. Imagine if his name were spelled like a normal Timothy. Not the cute E accent aigu. E accent aigu. Imagine if it was just Timothy with a Y. Will we like him that much? What if his last name was Shamlet instead of Chalamet? What if he wasn't half French, you know? What if? I think he'd still be a great actor. But anyway, I was waiting for him to show up in Lady Bird, and then he did, and I was like, oh, this character's so douchey, it makes me sick. But obviously his performance in Call Me by Your Name is the especially noteworthy one. Also, Armie Hammer, bitch. I can't wait to see that. And again, I've asked Nathan so many times if we could watch that freaking movie. I think we're still waiting for its price to go down on Amazon. But I just want to see it. I want to see a beautiful love story about two men in Italy. I want to see it. Tonya, freaking Margot Robbie, dude. She's so beautiful. And that's just such a spicy story. It's a true story, based on a true story. Ice skating's involved. Triple axel. Love it. And a little bit of violence. And conspiring? What am I fucking saying? Conspiring. Sure. I want to see Tonya. I want to see that. And, yeah, those are my lists. Other than that, I've got just a couple of things to chat about. The biggest awards of the Oscars. Oh yeah, so I was going to talk about the Oscars. Quickly. So, really big news, you guys. Nathan and I have been watching a lot of HGTV, and you may be thinking, what is this? How is this relevant to the Oscars? Hold your fucking horses. Nathan and I have been watching a lot of HGTV, mostly Property Brothers. We live for it, and it's not on Netflix anymore, and we went to hgtv.com, and they only have a few free episodes, and there are so many ads, it's annoying. And you have to have a cable subscription to be able to sign in and watch it on hgtv.com. And it's like, who has cable anymore? Not us, dude. Like, of course not. I feel so weird and out of touch when things want me to have cable or something, you know, where you're like, what? Like, imagine something being like, hey, give me your phone number, but it has to be a landline. Cell phones won't work. I'd be like, what do you want from me? What? You want me to dial up the webpage? Why can't I just use Wi-Fi? That's how I feel when somebody asks me to fucking use a cable login. No, just give me access to it. I just want to watch Property Brothers. But my parents came through, so I'm going to dedicate this episode to them. Shouts out, Mom and Dad. I hit them up and I was like, hey, do you by chance have cable? Because I know they use my Netflix, so I'm like, maybe they just don't have cable anymore. Who has cable? I don't know. But apparently they do. So they gave me their login, and Nathan and I now have access to HGTV, along with a lot of other things that cable TV gives you access to online. So it's exciting days, you know. Things are looking up. We've got unlimited Property Brothers episodes to watch. I'm really, really excited. But also, that login gave us access to the ABC app on Roku. What the fuck is Roku, you know? We got the ABC app, and we got to live watch the Oscars. Again, how weird is that? Like, anything that requires me to watch something on television, I'm like, how do we access it? But we got that password. So we turn on the Oscars live stream, and it's just way too fucking long. And every few minutes, just for no reason, the connection would shut off and it would be like retrieving, and we'd lose like 5 to 15 seconds of whatever was happening. So that was annoying. It's kind of like if your internet just kept getting disconnected and you're like, well, never mind. I really don't care enough for this. So we watched the first few episodes of the Oscars. First few hours, I don't know, it went on for so long. And we just kept getting interrupted and it was getting late and I was tired and I was like, dude, how much longer? And also, do I care enough to watch it live? Like, it's not like the MTV Music Awards or VH1. I don't know. It's not like the crazy wild, like music awards where like shenanigans happen. But even those I don't watch, so I don't know. Again, I'm not one to usually sit through an entire award show, even if it is the Oscars. But this one I was interested because, yeah, I mean, obviously if you've seen more of the films, you're more invested in who actually wins. So we decided to go to bed probably in the last like half hour or hour before, it ended. But we missed all the biggest categories, basically. And then we woke up. Did you tell me the winner, like, when we woke up? Like, you told me out loud?
Yeah, whispered in your ear.
Well, what the fuck? I remember being, like, half asleep and Nathan just being like, The Shape of Water won Best Picture. And I was like, okay, bye, love you. What? Nathan, my camera shut off. Could you hit record again? Please and thank you. Thanks. Hit the record button. There we go. Welcome back, YouTube. So yeah, spoiler alert, The Shape of Water won Best Picture. Also, that was one that I have seen, but I talked about that a few episodes back, so I didn't want to rehash that. But I did really enjoy The Shape of Water. I may have given that 4.5 stars. Looking back, it wasn't my favorite, but I did really enjoy it as I watched it, so I don't know. I think it deserves it. It was pretty good. Or maybe not deserves it, but I'm not, like, upset in any way that it won. Again, I don't like to argue over, like, the results of who gets picked for what. And Best Actress was Frances McDormand from 3 Billboards, which I love because I really adored her performance, and I'm glad that so many actors from 3 Billboards got nominations because it was incredible. Really, really great. So that, you guys, is my Oscars 2018 rehash commentary / movies I've seen / movies that I liked, I guess. Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you have the Apple Podcast app, I would really appreciate it if you guys would go and leave a review there, because I just live for those reviews, man. They get me so jazzed. And if you're listening to this on that same podcast app, please also leave a review, because, again, it's like getting an anonymous Formspring message years back, where somebody's like, I really love your hair, or something even nicer than that, like, I secretly wish I was you. TBT. Does anyone remember Formspring? It would be like the one nice message out of 10, like, really mean ones, except the reviews of my podcast are almost all really nice, so thank you guys so much for leaving those. I appreciate it. If you watch this whole thing on YouTube, please leave a comment as well. I love hearing from you guys. And of course, let me know which movies you saw, which ones were your fave. And if you have Letterboxd, follow me. Why not? Once again, if you're interested in supporting the podcast or checking out those bonus episodes, you can become a patron at patreon.com/previouslygifted for just $1 per month. Why not, Why not? Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for a new episode later. I am tired, and I'm always like hiccuping. Okay, thanks, bye. I can't smile because my lip is gonna bleed.